I remember my parents sitting at the kitchen table and they're like, we've got some news for you. And they said, you're the middle of a bidding war between the labels of Madonna, Prince and Michael Jackson, right? Love and Compassion was the part of the book I always skipped, because I'd be like, no, tell me more about fear. And
Today's guest could probably be the poster child for cracking on, don't you think, Sammy?
Oh, absolutely. When you talk about life's big, messy moments and how you just got to get through it, our guest had leukemia at the age of 6 and he found his way through it, healing through his guitar and playing music.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. He caught the interest of Madonna, Michael Jackson and Prince.
I don't know if you heard of them, guys.
Maybe not.
And I actually got to ask him about Michael Jackson, which I was really happy.
Face lighting up.
I'll talk about Michael Jackson to anyone who will ever listen, always.
I think our next guest is actually an angel wrapped in skin and is the epitome of cracking on. Please welcome Nathan Cavalieri.
We are so excited to have you in our studio. We'll do a fancy intro, don't worry.
Okay.
But
I don't need them. Yeah, it's all good.
It's going to be really fancy. Do you know, actually, a podcast went to air and I had said, we're going to give you a fancy intro, and we didn't.
And you didn't?
Oh, that's really rude.
Anyway.
Well, we promise we'll give you a fancy intro. I don't know if we'll have enough. Well, no, we will, but I don't know if we'll have enough. Like, that'll be like a full episode in itself. We need about 5 episodes to cover you, to be honest.
Truly, your career has spanned since it started when you were about 6 years old and you're now touring again.
Yeah.
Where would you like to start this podcast? Because we could start it at the beginning, middle, or we could start with your tour now. What would you like to do?
I also think that we got him.
That's never happened before. Yeah. I have no idea. It takes me a bit to even want to talk about myself, to be honest.
We also think that you have such a rich, full, big life. And you're just like the epitome of what our podcast is. We were so happy and excited when you said you wanted to come on. You're just like what cracking on really means to us. Like, you've just been cracking on since you were born.
Yeah, I probably say that it's there's definitely a lot that I've had to battle and a lot of lessons that I've learned, and some of those lessons I had to learn really young. Like, obviously going through leukemia was a huge thing. It was a big adult problem, and my world definitely changed. But I do, when I reflect on my life, I find this interesting parallel between the really tough stuff that happens, but then all the beauty that happens almost at the same time, or at least on the other side of it. And whenever I get a little bit up in my head about mystery and the fog and not knowing what's around the corner, I feel like I'm at an age now where I've got enough evidence to back up reasons why we should have a bit of faith in the unknown.
I really resonated when you spoke about, we saw a clip of you talking about having faith that everything is going to be okay. Like, you're going through a pretty tough time and you're feeling a bit anxious. And I just want to talk about that feeling of relief that washes over you, because I think, I know we've experienced it. And I'd just love to know from your perspective, like, what that feeling's like when you go, oh, wow, you feel peace. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was Dr. Seuss that said something along the lines of, I'm going to butcher this quote, which is like, the meaning of an experience is not clear until it becomes a memory.
Oh,
how good's that?
Good.
That's
yeah,
so
I mean,
true.
I think it said way better than what I just said.
No, I love that one.
But that's probably the moment of relief for me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get that feeling that where you exhale and you just even put your hands up. It's a bit of a ride at times. Trying to get that before I see evidence that everything's going to be okay. Because I feel like that also, how you put yourself out into the world does influence what can happen. But when you look back and you go, God, so this all makes sense. It's so good for the soul. It shifts how you show up when future challenges surface.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, to go, all right, this is not a battle here. What's the lesson? What am I supposed to be learning here?
And I think that's a practice thing. Well, I don't know, for me, I'm finding it's like a practice thing. Like, I think the video you're referring to was one that we saw on social media where you spoke about your separation.
Yeah.
And I've been divorced as well, like we chatted about earlier. And for me in that moment, it felt like the world was ending and I couldn't see a way forward.
Yeah.
It was just like the rug had absolutely been ripped from underneath me.
Yeah.
And I remember being on, like, in the fetal position on the floor, just wondering, like, how I was going to function and move forward with life. But then that's why your video resonated with me so much, because I just felt this, like, just kind of like a knowing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was, like, inside me because I just sort of built resilience over the years, or if it was, like, some higher power looking after me.
Your brother?
My brother could have been my brother, but I think it takes practice to kind of just lean into that trust or that gut instinct.
Yeah.
Do you find that
Yeah,
too?
100%. It's almost like the more you pick up the phone and have a conversation, like it's just that momentum continues. Like recently I've reacquainted myself with the spiritual aspects of my being that I neglected for years. Like I had that when I was a kid. When I was going through leukemia, I used to stare at the stars, and my belief was that they were past loved ones looking down on me, or maybe people I don't even know, but either or, that it gave me this sense of faith that I was looked after. Not that I ever felt danger at home, because my parents always had my back, and I'm very lucky to have been brought up by my parents. I love them dearly, and my brother. And then that sense of spirituality completely disappeared when I started to go through high school, and then coming out the other side, and I realized that I allowed science, which I'm obviously alive because of science, going through leukemia and the treatment and stuff like that, but I allowed that to dictate my spiritual beliefs. That quest that, well, if it's not proven, then it mustn't exist. And I remember one day when I really needed it, I just looked up to the stars of the sky, and I just went, all right, what do you got for me?
Yes.
And the most epic spiritual experiences happened that night, and it showed me that the world has my back in some way, world, universe, spirit, whatever. So I'm trying to continue that dialogue and that connection. So between that and your own intuition and things just feel a little bit more like a collaboration rather than a battle. But it's hard though. That's my big lesson over this last year or two, is that you're not going to see evidence. You're not always going to see evidence that things are going to be okay. So what are you left with? You're left with the stories in your head, and a lot of the times they're not good.
For the people who don't know, let's give a quick snapshot of how you became this child playing with all these incredible people.
Yeah, well, started playing guitar when I was young, got sick as a kid with leukemia, and then the Starlight Foundation granted me a wish to meet Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits. He was my idol. So we flew to London, my whole family, where I got to meet and play with my idol. I was 7 years old. Didn't realize also what an amazing psychological effect it had over me at that point, because it was like I was running from life because of all the traumatic procedures that I had to undergo, and there's a lot of that. And to now I've got a reason to fight. So I'm just running through everything, just pole vaulting my way through whatever I have to get to the end and meet my idol, right? So purpose, it was a real lesson in the power of purpose. And so I met him, but then media covered it. Then I was on Hey Hey It's Saturday all the time, got signed when I was 9 years old to Jimmy Barnes' wife's label, Jane Barnes, and that was my first ever tour, was supporting Jimmy and Diesel. Jimmy was touring Soul Deep, and Diesel was touring Hep Fidelity, so I was playing in front of 10,000 people per night, and then they found out about me in the States and brought me to the States, and I signed to Michael Jackson's label. And then it just went off, and then it all turned to crap. That was in my eyes at the time. It just kind of and then that's when I entered that world of self-discovery. Long walk through the dark woods. Yeah.
Well, before we go into the dark woods, I mean, if you're comfortable to go there,
For sure.
Could we visit like what that experience was like? I know Sammy is a huge Michael Jackson fan, so I don't think we'll be able to not talk about Michael Jackson in this app. I mean, if you feel comfortable sharing what it was like to work with him.
So I remember my parents sitting at the kitchen table, the dining table, and they're like, we've got some news for you. And I was 12 years old, and they said, you're the middle of a bidding war between the labels of Madonna, Prince, and Michael Jackson, right? I didn't even know who Prince was. I was so young, like I didn't, and that was, I think that was my first 2 words was like, who's Prince? Yeah. So we signed MJ's label, and the main reason for that was creative control. He was the only one that was happy to give us creative control.
That's beautiful.
Which was great. And he supported family values. So they enabled me, the whole family, to be always together versus the other labels were not really keen on that, or they at least wouldn't help out. So to be me with a minder, or one parent. And so they really respected it. Keep the family together. I was asked to be a guest at one of his gigs in New York for an HBO special. And when I got there, I was stoked. Like, it was like, this is going to be huge. But they had me running around like I was Macaulay Culkin. It was not like, it was the opposite to what I do. And when we finished the dress rehearsal, and this is the ways of the world, just chiming in and intervening. I've got Michael right here. I'm here. We're playing black and white. It's the last couple of bars. The song finishes. I hear a loud bang. I look down, and he is collapsed, and he face planted the foldback speakers. And I thought it was part of the show, so I kind of kept playing, and until the security came rushing in, and he was just lifeless. I just looked at him, and he wasn't getting up, and they took him away on a stretcher, and the show got cancelled.
What?
Yeah, it got cancelled, but little did I know that if that show went ahead, I wouldn't have been invited to tour with BB King for 6 weeks, because nobody was comfortable with me being up on stage running around like I was Macaulay Culkin, thrashing my head, like jumping through fake quad boxes and all that. And BB King was a real firm believer of authenticity, and his manager said if BB saw that performance, because the managers were talking, he wouldn't have invited Nathan on the road with him.
Wow.
Isn't
And isn't
that
that just a rejection redirection story?
Oh,
yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what was it like touring BB King? What was that experience
amazing.
like?
It was the first experience, like me seeing blues on a big stage, because up until that point it was all smoky blues clubs, and so to see him up on stage in front of thousands of people and just putting it in, and just the heart, and there's so much power. Like, people get this idea that blues is ding, 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 it's really light and everything, but then the type of blues that really moves you has so much power. It's hard hitting. It makes you move. It makes you, just rips your heart out, but it also makes you feel good as well. And he had a big band, and he had a real show as well. He wasn't just up there having a jam. And he'd invite me every night in the middle of his set, and he'd introduce me as the future of blues, which haunted me for many years. It was something I really struggled with. And I'd sit down and play, and just play with him. And it was wild, because you look around and go, these are not people who just listen to the blues. They created the blues. It's just wild.
And why did that haunt you for years?
When you're told by somebody who is your idol, you are the future of blues, it almost feels like now you have to live up to that.
Sure.
And which then inhibits, is that the right word? All these other natural, that's the right word, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All these other natural desires, creative desires. And so it's, and also it came about at a time when the industry was shifting, and it was no longer cool to be a guitar player. Not that I did it to be cool. I did it because I loved it. But then it was also at an age where I cared a lot about what people thought, too much. And I just started bit by bit going to my show. And that's kind of when it got really tough, probably when I was about 16 or so. Yeah.
Is this the Dark Forest?
The first of them, but no, the Dark Forest is later. Yeah. But I think this Dark Forrest, was more about authenticity more than anything. I learn't the hard way that I was seeing myself through the eyes of a small minority,
Sure.
which are the teachers, not all of the teachers, but a small amount of the teachers that used to humiliate me, embarrass me, pay me out for all of my successes, and then kids started to see me through their eyes. And I remember coming home one day from a Hey Hey It's Saturday episode to the fence of our house, the whole front fence covered in graffiti, and it said "Ain't no Hendrix." And I was 12 years. I was 11 or 12 years old at the time, and I had a
What's wrong with people?
teacher that binned all my votes for student captain and prefect because her justification was that I had enough attention when I was like, it wasn't about attention for me. This was about feeling like I was a part of a community because I took so much time off going through leukemia and also touring, but nothing can ever replace a child's need for connection amongst their peers, and just lots of stuff like that. And so I allowed that to get into my head. I fought. I always fought. Like, I never considered myself bullied, even though I probably was, but I still fought hard, and I never let people push me around, but I wasn't aware of the psychological effects until later. Yeah.
I would love to talk about the moment. Well, actually, I'll ask you the question and then you ask the question. I always butcher it.
Oh, okay. I actually asked it in another podcast and it was really good. I
butcher it.
I was looking at your little face.
I know. I panic. Sarah always asks a question. I went to do it, and then I was like drowning trying to ask a question. And then she's like, I've got a life raft for you.
Which is what the question is, actually.
Totally.
We usually ask all of our guests on the potty if there's a moment in their life where they feel like they've hit rock bottom and they've had to find a way to crack on with life and how they've managed to do that. You had seems and sounds like you have a lot to draw on. So whatever you would like to share with us.
I'd say real rock bottom for me. I was probably about 4 years into a battle with my mental health that I wasn't prepared for, didn't even know these types of feelings or psychological challenges existed, and my world got so small, like where I was afraid to even just walk out of the house. And nobody could tell me what was wrong. I had brain fog, I had lethargy, I'd have to have a nap after going for a power walk. Everything was an ordeal, yet life and all its things kept smashing me. I still had to go to work. I still had to face people. I still had to perform until I stopped performing because I was having too many panic attacks on stage. And I'm just going, I can't live like this anymore. Even sleep. Like, that was the one place where I had some sort of sense of peace and refuge, was sleep. And I would wake up and I'd count down the hours until I could sleep. That was my day. And I was constantly thinking about death and mortality. Fears of mortality were smashing me, and I was feeling out of my body, like almost like nothing is real, like I'm tripping out. And then sleep got taken away from me, and I was averaging about 3 hours sleep a night with lots of night terrors, and then trying to function like that. And I'd go to the doctors and I keep saying to them, I'm not right, something's wrong. And they do blood tests and they're doing everything. And I remember waiting for this one particular test, and I wanted there to be something wrong. I wanted there to be something wrong so I knew why I was feeling the way that I felt and what I could do about it. And I'd just come back from a holiday. Even the holiday where I had nothing to do, it was worse because I was alone with me, and you can't outrun yourself when you've got demons on the inside. And I rocked up and he says to me, your bloods are perfect. That was rock bottom for me. Yeah. And because in that moment, because I said to him, I can't live like this anymore. That was probably my first experience where I could understand what would drive somebody to the abyss. And even the fact that I could understand it made my future look so bleak, because I'm like, if this is how I am now, if we don't fix this, I know where this is going to end up. And I know people who are in their conscious mind and everything are going, whoa, bit of perspective, mate, or whatever. No, this is a corruption
totally.
of my mind. Like I was corrupt. I know I was corrupt. That's the point. I didn't know which way up and down was. And I got in the car and because the only thing that was offered to me was antidepressants. And this is me not demonizing antidepressants or anything like that, but I wanted to find the reason. And I also had this fear that antidepressants might mess with my connection with music. And I don't know, I was just probably had all these irrational fears. I don't know if they're true or not, but I turned my back on it. It was the only solution that was given to me in 4+ years. And I was like, I have to go out into the world and try a bunch of, and that's the deal I gave myself. For the next 12 months, try anything. Even if you think that it's not going to work, because remember, all the stuff that you think is not going to work led you to being here. Try it. Just try it. And I don't know, faith, something, instinct, heart, that's the thing that kind of put me on a certain path. And that was my first step into self-discovery that completely changed my world.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
Do you know what was anchoring that feeling? I know it's hard. I mean, I've been in exactly the same position, and I was the same. I didn't take antidepressants, so I know very well how you feel. And do you know what the anchor was that was holding you? Like, as in, I mean, I don't mean anchor. I mean like anchor as in like depression. That.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was?
I strongly believe that it was a complete lack of education on my inner world.
Sure.
The mind and the body, I see them as one system that operate together. They're not two independently functioning systems. They relate to each other. It's like an orchestra, right? And I trivialized, let alone did not understand the dialogue in my head, what was going on subconsciously. I didn't also understand just my body. So I had a clinical nutritionist, an integrative medicine doctor that was working on my body. And I mean, I'll never forget that moment of hope, because that's all I needed was after that session with the doctor, I sat in the car and I cried my eyes out and I'm freaking out going, now what do I do? And I saw this scrunched up bit of paper, which was a clinical nutritionist, details of a clinical nutritionist that was given to me by a life coach a couple of years ago. And I was like, that crap's not going to help me. And I just chucked it in the console and it was just there. And I opened it up and I thought, all right, well, I did say I made myself a deal, try anything. So I gave her a call and she answered. And I told her everything. She said, send me the blood test results and I'll call you back in 10 minutes. I send her the blood test results, the same blood test results. And she says, my God, Nathan, no wonder you feel the way you feel. Your body's not working for you. There is so much we can do. Book you in on Monday.
Yes.
And so she booked me in and between her and the integrative medicine doctor, GP, who she was working with, put me on all these different protocols over the space of about 6 to 12 months. And it was like lights were going back on. Right?
Yes.
And so that was my body though, but that's, and that did help my mind. So I could feel the fact that you get the body right and the mind starts to follow, but it still doesn't address the stuff that's going on in the mind that might have been the reason why the body collapsed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when I went to work. And I think that's a lot to do with a complete misunderstanding on fear. So when I researched anxiety, how do I get rid of anxiety? How do I get rid of anxiety? I kind of fell short. And until I came across a doctor that said anxiety is a stress response to fear.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay. You wanna understand anxiety and dissolve it, you gotta understand and challenge your relationship with fear. And man, I mean, that's what I teach now. I do workshops in schools and all sorts of stuff.
What workshops do you do?
I call it Beyond Fear and Anxiety. So it's literally, because I made a deal with myself. If I get to the other side of this, whatever knowledge I have, I got to put it out there because if I had access to that knowledge, I wouldn't have gone through that dark period, so that's my mission. When I tour, I try to just check in with different parts of those communities to see who will be up for receiving a workshop. And I did an amazing one in Adelaide at a college, and they were high school students. And I can't tell you how, like, the energy in that room when I'd share. So first, just sharing stories. it's like the energy just drops because they're going, somebody who understands.
Yeah.
Like, not saying they don't have that in their lives, but the more people who can make you feel understood, the better, right? And then to give them practical tools to be able to help them, you can just feel their energies, just all this, just the light, you know. And their eyes are all just radiating, and they're all lit up, and it's a pretty joyful experience. So, but that was a big one. Fear, being afraid of feelings.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember my meditation coach saying, just remember, nobody ever died of a feeling.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
true,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I could talk about it for hours, but
That's
yeah.
fantastic. I didn't know that. Good on you. That would be such a healing, like a healing feeling. Healing feeling.
That's great. We can use
Yeah,
that too.
healing feeling.
Sam.
She's a poet and she didn't know it.
Well, someone's writing songs and it ain't me. All right? Actually, I want to talk about writing songs.
Yeah.
Because
Is that going to be the first line of your chorus? The
Yeah,
healing feeling.
There's
you
the
can use
title.
it if you want. I would love to know. So I'm fascinated with songwriting. I think, I remember watching an interview with Rob Thomas, who I also love. This interview is just a list of all the people I love.
Yeah.
But he was saying, he was asked about songwriting. He's like, you either can hear music that doesn't exist yet or you don't. And
cool.
Which I
Okay.
thought was really cool. And I'm like, wow, I've never really thought about that. But of course it is. Like, you hear music that doesn't exist. And I'd just be so curious to know, like, do you hear bars in your head, or like how does it work?
It's evolved over the years. So obviously when I was a kid, I only knew how to play guitar. But I never wanted to just be a guitarist. I had so much more I wanted to express, but that was just the skill I had at the time. And I'd look at people like Diesel or Jimmy and go, man, I want some of those tools. And that's how I ended up in the world of writing, production, mixing, obviously singing, and that's the artist that I am today. And so at the moment, it's between two things. Sometimes a riff or a chord progression comes to mind. Quite often when I'm going into the studio, specifically after a song has been written, I can already hear the production in my head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if I don't, I know it's going to be a long day because it's just about trial and error. But when to get me in flow, I would actually rather just go for a walk for a couple of hours and create it in my head first. And then I'm in flow when I'm in the studio. The other is walking around the world and just phrases might pop up like
Healing feeling.
healing feeling. Yeah, like it's like 5% takes 5% of the royalties. And or things I want to say. I'm big, like all of my songs that I have, well, most of them at the moment say something that means a lot to me. I got obviously Tilbar is the anchor that reminded to have faith in the unknown. I got a song called Before You Check Out, which is knowing the difference between the world that you're walking around in up here versus the real world, what's happening. And then Miracles is about, and it came about during COVID when I was just so tired of the doom and gloom, the news, and this belief that, and it was just a brainwash of that, everything's just bad, alarm, and just the clickbait. I came up with this phrase called clickbait headlines, and the idea that when bad things happen, headlines, but then when the good thing happens, like you don't hear it about it, and so that will mess with our perception of the world, and it was an ode to kids to just believe in miracles. Miracles happen all the time. And I've got lots of different types of songs. Some of them are sleazy and banging and fun, and then others are really deep and emotional. So, yeah.
Did you come across John Krasinski's Good News during COVID, either of you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because you're right. During COVID it was, and a lot of the time it's like bad headlines, like fear-mongering headlines. But John Krasinski started a Good News segment where he would just say good news.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he did I think it was on YouTube, and he just post like good stories and good things that were happening in the world.
That's nice.
It was so nice, and it was just such a great laugh.
Yeah, and it's very tricky, isn't it? Because unfortunately many people just are in that that vortex of just negativity and alarm, and it's like they've gotten themselves in a position where they're almost addicted to it. And I remember going to a mental health panel, and this was when I was at my worst, and I wanted some answers, and it was an hour of doom and gloom. They were just rattling off all the stats.
Yeah,
about how I know how shit things are. That's why I'm here. Like, tell me how to get out of it.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? You have to practice. I mean, what helped me was Susie Porter. We had Susie Porter on the podcast a while ago or 2 eps ago or something, and she said, choose the better thought. And I always think of that now because...
Oh, I just listened to that podcast. Great podcast. I have a question, though, if I'm allowed to...
For us or Susie?
Yeah, I love that. Choose a better thought. How you show up is going to influence what opportunities and the outcomes that happen in your day, right? But then I'm also a firm believer, and this is what led to me being a lot more at peace and almost ending the war on the self, is that we've got to feel our feelings.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, that to me is I don't know how those two modalities can coexist, because I believe in them both. But if I'm constantly trying to choose a better thought, trying to choose a better feeling, and I went through a phase of doing that, and I found myself running through life and running from all the things that I needed to feel to make sense, to know what to do next. And also when you look at the world of somatic experiencing and that, it's kind of like those feelings need to be felt so they're not trapped, particularly traumatic ones. Do you guys know how those two worlds can exist?
That's such a good question.
I also I think you're probably the better one to answer
guys?
it. Well, you're more about understand that world a bit more, because I'm a bit more like you can get caught in a trap of beating yourself up if you're not positively thinking.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's what it's called, the happy trap.
Yeah, and you go, oh, am I now manifesting all this thing because I am stuck in this thought? Maybe I'm just feeling my feelings. Anyway, hey, what?
Look,
yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm putting my own slant on it. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I'm trying to find my own practice.
Love it.
Because I have gone through a period of time where I have been pushing down feelings and not feeling things and running from things. And I had a breakdown on the weekend and took myself, I was like, I'm going to clean up my side of the street. And I went and did somatic healing. And which I imagine you're
found a practitioner. I'm just, it's a new world for me. I'm very interested
I'll
in
give you her details. Yeah, she was brilliant because I didn't realize how much was stored in my body. And that was from repression, holding so much down. So I have been thinking maybe choose the better thought is instead of repressing my anger and my rage or my fear, choosing to let it out. I know that's a bit of a twisty-turny way of embracing what that means.
More like flow, allowing things to flow.
Like maybe the better thought for me is instead of holding things in and not articulating how I feel or not expressing how I feel or how I should be looked after, maybe it is actually just to let it out.
Yeah.
But that's just a stereotype, isn't it?
I don't know if this aligns, but I remember somebody saying to me, when we're talking about feeling your feelings, this does not mean rumination. This doesn't mean triggering yourself by playing the story over and over again. It means feel the feelings. As a physical experience, and just allow them to be there and give yourself, and this is probably maybe aligns, love and compassion.
Yeah.
Hold them in a space of love and compassion. Yeah. Allow them to be there. But you got to still check out of the story that's in the head, and I get a lot of love and compassion was the part of the book I always skipped, because I'd be like, no, tell me more about fear, and until I realized that is the solution. Yeah, I mean, and I know it sounds a bit hippie, but I can't tell you how many times, particularly over the last year, that I had to bring myself back to, hey, love and compassion here. Yeah. This doesn't mean condonement. Doesn't mean you're okay with it. Yeah. But hold it with love and compassion. And now the world that I'm moving in with my partner and everything, there's access to so much love, And even that alone showed me how powerful just love is. Love, whether you're receiving it externally, but also love within the self, which can be cultivated.
Yeah, absolutely. After I've only done one session of this somatic healing. I've booked in to get more, to see her more regularly. But afterwards I said to her, I feel like I'm meeting myself again, like meeting a new version of myself. And that was really big for me because I lost a lot of my self-worth and a lot of belief in myself. It used to be sparkly and bright, but I lost it for many years. Yeah, you can attest to that, can't you?
Yeah.
And I met her again and I realized that it was about becoming my best mate again.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I literally say this in the story.
Do
you
you?
mean the theatre show? Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
Well, can you please tell us about your stage show? That's what you were talking about, right? You stayed in your stage show?
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to talk about and promote here as well.
Yeah. So when I decided to get back out there and I'm playing all these shows, I was keeping it real. So I'd play the things that my heart wanted. I'd perform it in the way that my heart wanted to, and I'd share these stories. And I found that those stories, whether it's growing up on the road to what's happening in my life now, it just felt cathartic. And I got a lot of feedback after the show that they really loved the stories, that I should write a book or, and I felt it was, I had this voice inside me going, who are you to write a book? That's like self-indulgent. And
I've written a book.
Yeah. No.
You're writing a second.
Me. No, sorry. Just to be clear. It's like
I'm
me
only
writing a
teasing
book.
you.
No,
I'm only teasing. It's fine.
shit.
Sorry. Keep going.
It's called Healing is Feeling.
If there's a joke, mate, I'm taking it. No,
but
please.
that is the corruption because it wasn't until I was listening to Hugh from The Imperfects, his book, The Resilience Project, and I think it was his partner that said, you should write a book. And he's like, who am I to write a book? And she's like, well, that's a selfish thing to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're holding back on a lot of what people, could be getting. Like you could be inspiring people and you're holding on to that. And it really kind of spun things around for him, and it did the same for me as well.
Right.
Like, all right, I've got to take myself out of the equation here and just look at the life and go, what is this going to do anything for anyone?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I'm like, all right, I'm interested in writing a book, but what can I do now? All right, how about I bring it to the theatre stage? And I pitched it to a bunch of theatres and they were like, please. And so I started writing it. And it's basically all the stories that have shaped me as a human being. And I didn't want to create something that was just a nostalgic trip, even though there's a lot of nostalgia there. I still wanted it to be something where people can take something away for themselves, because I truly believe that even though we're living all our own unique lives, when you break down the fundamentals, we have so much in common.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of light and shade in this show, and I punctuate certain stories with songs as well. And I've never done anything like it. It was a very challenging show to create because I had to relive a lot of experiences that I had buried. There are some absolute cracker stories because I obviously was going through puberty in front of the cameras, and that makes for some awkward moments, and it's been long enough so I can have a laugh at it now. So I'll bring a couple of those stories onto the stage, and then also just what that journey was like, finding myself again. So
yeah, I would love to know, when you spoke about feeling that darkness earlier, how long did it take for you to start writing songs again? Because did that part of you get shut off during that dark time?
Well, no. So actually, no. There was a period where I couldn't even pick up my guitar because of what it represented. It represented pressure. It represented the stage. It represented all these things that I just can't do. And also what it rubbed it in my face, what this mental health issue had corrupted. Like it corrupted my special place on the stage, and that would hurt me. So, I mean, I was going through leukemia while I was up on stage. Yeah. I'd go through chemo and have a session, and then get up and on the stages of Hey It's Saturday. And so a lot of people who were watching me, what you didn't know is that generally the previous day there was something traumatic going on in the hospital, and yet as soon as I walked onto that stage and picked up my guitar, it's like I had superpowers, and it'd make me forget, and I'd go from being in a state of protection to feeling alive.
Yeah.
And yet, as an adult, I couldn't get beyond that. It just messed me up. So I was so angry but I think once I started to accept that where I am is where I am, and there was enough hope. So I was taking those baby steps and learning about the self, the body, the mind, and all the things. I started writing, again, not because I thought I was going to end up on stage, because that was still the big mountain that I had to climb in the end. But at least my heart started to open back up again. And
it's so beautiful that you get to heal certain parts of you through your music, and then in turn heal other people. Or I've just, from seeing your shows and seeing the people in the audience and the way their faces light up.
Yeah.
It just blows me away. What a special gift you have, and we're so blessed that you share it with us.
Thank you. I think, the life experience, there's nothing like it. I remember the first, like watching Jimmy and Diesel go to work night after night showed me the difference between being a musician where it's just about self-expression, but when you bring something on the stage, that's about connection.
Yeah.
And when a whole room goes along on a journey, when we're all going along on a journey together, it's incredible. And also it's also music, live music gives you the opportunity to feel feelings you wouldn't normally take the time to feel in your everyday life. That's why is it that you can listen to a Radiohead song and cry and yet feel so amazing on the other side of it. It's all,
Yeah, it's pretty powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like the oldest form of connection too, I think. Like, that's how people started to connect, like singing songs around a campfire and telling stories. And I just think it's just so brilliant what you're doing, and I can't wait to see your
Thank
show.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think, I guess the exciting thing I always find, every time you go to a live show, whether it be music, theatre, whatever it is, when you're all collectively having an experience, I personally think there's something spiritual about it. But I just think nothing can take that away. There is fear in the news. There's, AI, this, that, blah, blah. Everyone's so scared. But when you're in those experiences, when you're at a concert, when you're at a theatre show, you're you feel peace and excited. You're nothing can take this away.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
100%, absolutely, yeah. And I'm definitely, and I worked really hard for it. I'm at that point right now where I'm back up on stage and it is my special place again, and I'm in the moment and in my body and in my heart and connecting with the audience, and I know they're there as well, and you can just feel it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. Yeah. Right now, this storytelling theatre show, which is Growing Pains, it's starting off in Victoria. So we're actually touring a lot of regional cities, and we do have a couple that are outside of Victoria, which is Taree and Avoca, but it'll be making its way around the country. We're booking it at the moment into next year. So,
that's exciting.
Yeah, and then the plan for next year, so if you're a parent or whatever, have a relationship with schools, is that I definitely want to drop into those schools that are near where I'm touring to give these workshops as well. So, that's my kind of purpose, is if I can entertain and educate and inspire, or on that, then that's what I'm trying to do at the moment.
That is so cool. We love it.
We'll have to go on a double date, go to the concert.
We will.
Or bring the boys as well.
No, like I said.
No, but before we go, we have to ask you, what cracks you up at the moment?
Yeah, what's
in
making you
life?
laugh?
Is there anything that you got a good story, I can tell. Look at your little face.
You know what? There's so much laughter in my life.
Oh,
at the
that's so
moment.
good.
It really is, and a lot of it's got to do with my partner. You have to be able to laugh at things, and we laugh at things all the time.
That's great.
And including our misfortunes and stuff. We both of us have been through so much, and I feel like if you can't laugh at things here and there, it's so easy to lose perspective when life gets so serious. And so right now she's cracking me up, and then also just my kids crack me up.
Yeah.
My kids, especially because they're going through all sorts of phases, and my one of my kids is going through a phase where he gets a little socially nervous. He doesn't want to look like the odd one out and to look cool and stuff like that. And I just dropped him off at this little sports camp, and he doesn't know anybody there, and we're lining up, and I'm like, it's cool, man, it's cool. And he gets to the front and he says his name in his big man voice, and everything is going well until Dad stuffs it up because I'm like, cool, home stretch, we're done. And then you can go off, and he gives me a big hug, and I'm so stoked that he wants to hug me still. Right. And I get excited. And as I wind back my hands, I smack this kid in the head, right? But I don't know. And this kid starts crying. And then the mother's looking at me like, dude, like, and then my son's like, no, this is the most embarrassing. And I just stuffed it.
That is hilarious. Remember the time you whacked a kid in the face and made him cry?
I know. The kid looked like a troublemaker. You probably deserve it.
Yeah. You're the embarrassing dad.
That's so funny. That is beautiful, though. It's always good when they want to show you affection, though. Like,
are you hungry?
Yes. What, are they fortune cookies?
They're fortune cookies. So, yeah, another thing we do on the potty.
Choose one.
We tell your fortune.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes they're really bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes people walk away and go, oh, that was actually quite good. And other times
it's quite profound.
They don't really make sense.
And then we have a little trick with some of them sometimes to make them a bit better.
Well, I'm not going to munch on screen. Give you some munching ASMR.
Yeah, please do.
All right. Whoa.
Ooh.
Did you put these in?
No.
This is a good one today then, by the sounds of it.
Say?
You wouldn't care what people thought of you if you realised how seldom they do. I remember somebody saying to me, and he was a rep with a guitar brand I was working with, and he knew I was hesitating releasing music because I needed it to be right. And he's like, I'm going to tell you something, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way. But most people are not waiting for a Nathan Cavalieri album. Their lives have not stopped to wait for you to drop an album. And when you drop it, most people probably won't even listen to it. Like if you drop something and it doesn't resonate with people, you'll find that most people probably didn't even hear it. It's not like the whole world is saying this is a bad album.
Yes.
You know? And it's like most people don't see other people even, right? That can be the problem right now. But yeah, maybe that's what I take away from it, right?
Actually,
you wouldn't really care.
Yes.
Right?
I advised Tim Franklin, who used to work with us on Home and Away. He once said, I was wigging out about something. And he said to me, Sam, you just have to remember no one actually cares about you. And like, he wasn't, it sounds, but it's sort of in that vein of being like, they don't care. They don't actually care about you. So
it's
don't worry about it.
It's not so like they don't care whether bad things happen or not. It's more just like neither here nor there. I'm not really paying attention.
Sure. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's interesting. So anyway, for all of our crackheads, no one cares about you. Just
that's the takeaway for today.
It's a bit of fun.
The healing feeling is nobody cares about you.
Healing feeling, nobody cares about you.
Gave me a microphone, honestly. We have had so much fun having you in here. And everyone, go check out your show. We're going to go.
Yeah, Growing Pains.
Yep.
Yes,
Growing Pains. NathanCavalieri.com/tour. It's all there. And there's also register your interest on the website for the courses as well on getting beyond fear and anxiety.
Yes, so please. We would love to. We can sign up for that.
Can grown women do that, or is it just for schools?
Anyone who is just daily life, but also anyone who kind of is in a performance, like you could be a musical performer, an entertainer, podcaster, if you've got to do a speech at work, like anything. I mean, there will be like an essentials course, which basically is the foundations for how to handle the inner world.
That's awesome.
Which is not even really focused on performance. And then I'll be releasing all these different types of performance orientated.
That's so good.
Yeah, modules as well on top of that.
I'd love to do it. I'm a DJ as well. And
cool.
I sometimes have this crippling fear before I go on stage that no one's going to dance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have that?
Absolutely. I have all sorts of fears and everything. Yeah, 100%. Like nobody's going to laugh, nobody's going to clap. It's just all just what ifs. But I think again for a lot of people who get paralyzed by their fear of the stage, it often comes from a resistance to feeling that fear, and they're just buying it or into it.
Yeah.
But there's the lesson with fear that completely transformed my world was to rebrand fear not as Godzilla, this monster you got to run away from, but as an overprotective parent.
That's
Because
good.
they're always looking out for you. Their job is to pay attention to all of the threats. They keep putting them in your head, right? And then when you think about how do you respond to yourself when you're feeling afraid, well, if it's Godzilla, you're going to go into battle and you're going to run.
Yeah.
But if it's an overprotective parent, you're going to listen to them. You're going to give them reassurance. You're going to give them love. And for every time we try to outrun fear, you are slapping your overprotective parent in the face.
Oh, God.
And it won't stop them. That's why aversion doesn't work.
Wow. Yeah.
Nathan,
Yeah.
that is the best way I've ever heard fear described.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Truly, it really is. And as an overprotective parent, I really relate.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's because I love you.
One day you understand.
Wow. I mean, and that's just like one sentence of his courses. Sign up to his courses,
We're
guys.
going to double date to the course.
We'll double date. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your time as well. Yeah, these conversations are so important. So you guys are inspiring so many people and also bringing a lot of laughter and joy to their lives. It's needed very much so. Well done.
Thank you
Right
so
back at you.
much.
This is just lovely.
You don't have to thank us. Like, we're really privileged to
Oh,
have
of
just
course.
heard your
Well,
story.
I'm just an idiot with a microphone.
I'm just an idiot with a guitar. So-